Well, good morning, River. Pray for me as I bring this devotional this morning. It's 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 really awkward trying to talk to a computer, and especially to focus on the little green light. But I'm going to do the best I can this morning, knowing that beyond the green light is you, and that's who I'm really I really care for, and I really pray for, and I really want to help during this Corona time. So that's my effort. But I've got to chuckle at myself as I'm just conscious of this awkwardness of trying to teach a green light. For the last few days, as I mentioned in an earlier study that I brought, have been just dwelling on and just feeding on Psalm chapter 81. And verse 10 has been especially helpful for me recently, and I want to pass along some things I've drawn from that. I'm going to look at one of these this morning, and then in the coming days I'll bring additional thoughts. But Asaph, the author of this psalm, is writing the Jews, and he's admonishing them not to give themselves, not to trust in false gods, in other things that they rely on more than they rely on God himself. And in verse 10, he reminds them, as he quotes God, that I, the Lord, am your God, who brought you up from the land of Egypt. Open your mouth wide, and I will fill it. What I want to begin to unpack today is, what does it mean to open our mouths wide? How do we go about doing that practically? So it's not just an idea we kind of quote and with some kind of an encouraging thought, but it's something we actually are able to do. And I want to give you something to consider developing in your own life. And it's the idea of having something that you're dwelling on, brooding on throughout the day. Something about God, or something about the way God works. And this thought or this truth is just something that goes with you. And you're focusing on your relationships, and you're trying to get chores done, and you're running errands or making phone calls. But in the back of your mind, there's this idea or truth about who God is and how he works, that it just keeps rising in your thoughts. And you dwell on that, and as you do, along with it comes this ability to call on God, or open your mouth wide and just remind yourself, God, I want you, and I want you to work in this particular situation. And that just becomes how you go through your day. Here's an example. If you were to use Psalm chapter 23 and take something from that and just mull on it for a day, or mull on it throughout the week, here's some of what you're going to find in Psalm 23. It begins by saying, the Lord is my shepherd. You might want to just dwell on the name Yahweh and all that implies. That's when it says, the Lord is my shepherd. It's that word Yahweh. Shepherd is another idea that you might just take throughout your day, that God is shepherding me, and watch for ways he's doing it. I shall not want. That as you walk with God, yes, you're going to go through some difficult times, so will I, but we will not want. He leads us to green pastures. He nurtures us and he feeds us. He takes us by still waters. And what he's doing is he's restoring my soul. That idea is something you might want to just give a week to and just ask God, how are you restoring my soul? And throughout the day, that idea that you're wondering, God, what are you doing to restore me? He prepares a table before me. He guides me through difficult times. He's near me through difficult times. He comforts me in difficult times. And one day he'll prepare a banquet for me in the presence of my enemies. These truths, you take one of them, and as I mentioned, as you go through your daily responsibility, your daily relationships, you have this going on in the back of your mind, and then as it occurs to you, as it comes into your thinking, go to God and say, God, would you show me more and more and more about what you're doing to, for example, to restore my soul. And God, I want you to know, I want all that you're going to do for me, and I want it today. What you're doing when you dwell on that and you pray like that throughout the day is you're opening your mouth wide, and he will fill it.